Hello and welcome to ADHD TV with me, Jo Richards. I'm doing a short series of videos about Thomas E. Brown's executive functioning. And you will see in the thread before that there are some videos where I do a summary of the 6 elements, key elements that are involved with executive functioning under his model. And now what I'm doing is just doing individual videos based on each one. And so this one is another one about memory. So you might find that I've duplicated some, but the content will be different within the video just to try and bring it to life a bit more. And so in this video, I kind of want to talk about memory and just the feelings of shame and embarrassment that can surround the fact that we only have a post-it note size memory, working memory, in comparison to our neurotypical peers who have an A4 sized sheet of paper. And I mentioned this in a previous video. And actually what that can do is really impact everything that we're doing on a day-to-day basis. If you can imagine not being able to hold information, not being able to recall information, not being able to remember what you're saying in the middle of the sentence and the middle of the conversation, and just how much shame and embarrassment can be felt because you're in that situation. You know, we're always taught that to be successful, you have to have consistency. And the problem is we don't have that with our memory. And so if we need to be on time, we need to measure time, we can't do that because we have time blindness. If you want to deliver information to people, you need to be consistent with that. So if you suddenly forget what you're saying, that can be really stressful, and you can go into huge amounts of masking, just trying to talk about something else while you get your brain to try and work and bring forward the information that you're in the middle of disclosing to clients or peers, or if you're doing a presentation. If we want to have healthy lifestyles, we have to remember that we're following a certain eating regime, or that we're meant to eat at consistent times throughout the day. That can be really problematic for us. If you want to have a healthy lifestyle, that you're going to go for a walk every day. These are just things that don't stay in the forefront of our mind because we just don't have the capacity. You know, I'm going to drink 8 glasses of water a day. Even just drinking one is a result. And so our intentions are good, but we can forget them because we don't have that working memory capacity. But there are things that we can do to help with that. So one thing is awareness that this is a thing that goes on for us and our brains. I remember I humbly host free business networking for women in Bristol. And I open the meeting. I normally have to say pretty much the same thing every meeting, once a month. And before I knew I had ADHD, depending on, because obviously we have no control, some days we can really, really focus and it seems like we can make decisions and our brain seems to be switched on and working. And then other days that isn't the case. And we don't know how we're going to wake up with that. And I remember, you know, just being stood there in front of 27 other lovely ladies, needing to open the meeting, couldn't remember what her name was, couldn't remember the sequence of what I normally said, would look at other people, I would joke about it and just say, oh, you know, sorry, Dory the fish, memory today, my brain's not working. But I didn't know why. There was still an element of shame and embarrassment whilst I was joking and trying to explain why I couldn't bring any information forward. I couldn't get my brain to work. And so by shining a light on it and doing videos like this and bringing it to life and just sharing this with other people so that they know, obviously when you're menopausal, lots of women my age will know this feeling. If your executive functioning is not working at all, but if you've got ADHD as well, this is what you live with all the time. And I think some of the aspects of, you know, not being able to focus and not, you know, a little bit of attention and the other executive functionings are kind of easier to kind of accept and to recognize as part of your life. And I think memory is the trickiest, biggest problem, and it's also the one that really hits home that actually ADHD is a massive disability. And it is something that's really challenging, and it does affect us across every single part of our lives. And it is something that really restricts us from being successful in so many areas of our life as well. And I think that's the hardest thing when you're understanding the memory deficit that we have and trying to use that executive functioning, and just, trying to accept that that's part of ADHD and it's not a personality flaw. There are things we can do to help aid our working memory. And obviously there are things that I've mentioned in the other videos to do with diet and sleep and prioritising things and putting routines and structures in place, which I know we normally find really boring and run away from. But there are things that can help. So it's not, it's not the end of the road. We can shine a light on it, and we can start explaining and using the vocabulary to explain and advocate for ourselves when we're in a situation where our brain isn't working and really we need it to be working. And as I always say, ADHD is not an excuse, it's an explanation. And understanding our executive functioning and be able to give those explanations to people as to why things aren't working the way they deem it should be and we would like it to be is a great start. Hope you're enjoying these videos, and I look forward to talking to you in the next one. Take care.